Hello and welcome to Story X Story, the podcast by Maya Madder that dives deep into stories across pop culture, brings you closer to the people who make them, plus gives you advice on creating your own. It's episode 241, and I am your co-host, Nigel.
I am Tazziii, content creator and co-host.
And as always, we're here bringing you interesting discussions with diverse voices. And to help us out today, as we talk about what's going on in games and maybe catch Tazziii up as well, are a bunch of first-timers, technically. We were still not sure about Janelle, if she's been on something like this before. Probably not. So a bunch of first-timers. First of all, let me introduce gamer and author of Mia and the Lightcasters, Janelle McCurdy. Janelle, welcome back, because you have been on a podcast episode before, at least one. We know that.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate you coming back. And so Janelle did an interview with us and was at our Against All Odds launch event last year. That was 2025 for the Roundtable we did there. We'll put a link to that in the show notes for those interested in listening. Also with us is director and founder of Control Impact, Wayne Emanuel. Wayne, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's great. I'm really excited to discuss the world of games today.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, bringing your perspective. You're definitely first time on the show. Never done anything
100%.
like this before, so that we do know. And also never been on the show for is award-winning video games accessibility consultant and advocate, Mathew Allcock. Matt, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so sorry my job title is that long.
No, it's cool. It gives me practice. You know, like when people warm up before they do a whole bunch of talking and they do those.
Yeah.
I'll just repeat your job title, and that will warm me right up for what we're about to do. Is talk a lot about video games. So, listeners, you can subscribe to Story X Story wherever you get your podcasts from, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, YouTube as well. You can also send us your feedback and questions in a variety of ways. You can chat with us in our Studio 77 Discord. You can email us at studio77@mymatter.com, or you can throw your thoughts at us on social media. We are at mymatter on Twitter. Still, I don't know, I feel we might have to address that, but anyway, future consideration. At mymatter TV on Instagram and TikTok, and at mymatter.com on Blue Sky, or at Life of a W Gamer on Instagram and TikTok, and at Tazziii on everything else. You can also head to mymatter.com to discover the MyMatter brand, including our characters and manga stories and all the events and community activities and things that we do. In progress is our Do I Look Like a Gamer video game representation campaign. So we believe that everyone can play games and everyone can win in games, if not literally, because I'm not actually that good at games, but in a theoretical concept. So we embody that in our yearly campaign, Do I Look Like a Gamer, which is all about showcasing 40 players and makers who prove that very fact. So it's about capturing the diversity that already exists in gaming in order to inspire the next generation of diverse talent. So whether you are just discovering games or you've been playing them for years, you can get involved and help the push for more inclusive games culture. So like I said, we do our campaign photo shoot, which is the start of the campaign. And then we do a series of events and activities over the year. So we are currently preparing for the photo shoots to take place across Liverpool. And this is the 5th year of the Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign. So each year we've been doing the photo of the 40 players and makers. It's been fun. We've been going to different places in addition to London, because we're here in London, but we'd like to travel around as possible. So again, as of recording and as of February, if you would like to be in this year's photo campaign, or you know someone who would be perfect for it, you can head to looklikeagamer.com to register your interest. We are definitely interested in people taking part. This year, with another 40, we will reach 200 photos total across all the campaign years. So a bit of a milestone there. So we need your help to get there. So if you would like to be featured, or again, put someone forward, if you feel like there should be more of you in the video games industry, reach out to us. Now is the time. You can go to the website, you can email us hello@looklikeagamer.com. So that's one of the main things that we're working on now. But let's talk about what everyone has been playing lately.
No spoilers in this section, just honest reactions, recommendations, or warnings from what we've all been playing recently. Whether you're loving something, not enjoying something, or just getting around to that game that's been on the backlog, we want to hear it. Starting with our guests. So, Janelle, do you want to let us know what games you've been playing?
Yeah, so I've been playing and completed yesterday was Reanimal that came out just a few days ago. And it was amazing. I would give it like an 8.5 to 9 out of 10, only because the ending upset me in a good way and in a bad way. But I felt like my heart was torn. But it's okay. The game was amazing. It was on par with Little Nightmares 1 and Little Nightmares 2. Yeah, I was just so blown away, honestly. So yeah, that's been an amazing game I played recently, and been replaying Resident Evil Village in honor of Requiem that's coming out in the next few weeks.
Nice. Both games that are way too scary for me, but
Is Reanimal scarier than Little Nightmares? Or
I wouldn't say it's scary. I'd say it's more just creepy and dark.
Okay.
And then in contrast, My Little Puppy is a really cute, like, little puppy game about a puppy who, like, is searching for his owner in, like, the real world, because he starts off in heaven and he, like, tries to come down to try and find where his owner is. It's really cute. So that's a wholesome game in contrast to Reanimal, if you wanted to check that out.
oh,
So cute. Like, my heart is, yeah, it's amazing. It's by Dream Motion. Yeah, My Little Puppy was so cute.
Thanks for sharing. Wayne, what about yourself?
I've been playing quite a few games actually. I've been playing a lot for various reasons. Some of it I can't share, but one of the games I've been playing quite a bit quite recently is Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. I didn't get a chance to play it when it launched, but I started playing it just before the Christmas break, and it's a very good game. I must be like 90 hours or so into it, have completed it, and I'm doing some end game stuff. So yeah, I'm sure you guys already spoke about it on the podcast at some point. But yeah, a very well made game, beautiful soundtrack, European, French specifically. So it's all great. It's great to like see this type of take on what is traditionally a JRPG coming from like a Western developer. So yeah, having a lot of fun with that one. The Altars, which is, I'm not sure if everyone knows about the Altars. So this is
No.
by 11-bit Studios. So they did This War of Mine and Frostpunk. So a lot of their titles typically are about kind of survival. 11-bit Studios, yeah, and This War of Mine, that's probably their most famous title. But The Altars is a sci-fi take on survival, where you play as yourself, but also a number of clones, trying to survive some planet that you're on. It's very much like The Martian, if you've either read the book or seen that film. But that in video game form with a little bit of, I guess, the other film called Moon, which has some things going on in it. So there's that, and then the last game I would say that I've been playing is, and this is because I'm a bit of an arcade fighting game nerd, is Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, which is a old school 2D Street Fighter game. I recently was able to get that running on an arcade cab, so I've just been having a lot of fun getting involved in that. So that's me.
I love the variety.
Thank you.
Nice spread there. And then last of our guests.
I've always got a constant, which is FC 26 or FIFA for those that still call it that. That's my, like, because I work in games, you kind of have that one game that you can just switch off from. And yeah, that's that. It's my constant. I'm always playing FC. Just, yeah, it's always there in the background. But recently I have started playing a playthrough of Divinity Original Sins 2 with a few of my friends. And if you have ever like watched me stream or anything, it is not in my wheelhouse at all. But we are addicted, and it's great. And it's honestly shocked me because I normally play quite like high-paced, fast games, and it's quite the opposite to that. It's turn-based, it's tactile, it's yeah, and I am loving that kind of. And it's made me very excited, obviously, for the announcement of the newest edition from Larian Studios. So yeah, it's honestly really good. Like, I wasn't expecting it. I thought after a few hours, me and my friends would get quite bored of it, but actually we haven't. And yeah, it's incredible. It's a highly recommend from me now.
Have FIFA actually released their game? Because I remember at the time FIFA were like, we don't care, we're going to release our game. And I was like, no, you're not.
It's in development. It's been taken on by Netflix Studios, so it is currently in development. And yeah, that's literally all we know so far.
What are your thoughts on them making their own game?
It's going to be interesting because EA have got the monopoly as a football fan, EA and a football game fan. EA have got that monopoly very much nailed. It's there's been a couple of contenders over the last couple of years that have tried to kind of pigeonhole themselves in that market, and they've just kind of fallen flat after the first week. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it's taken on from a studio such as Netflix. And yeah,
that is interesting, because for something that's serialized and a company that loves to cancel things that don't do amazingly straight away.
Yeah, and taking on the wheelhouse that is football games, and when it's such a long-standing market with EA obviously having over 26 titles in their football series, it's a brave move, let's say that.
Yeah.
It's also interesting because it's an expensive license, so Netflix want anyone to pay for it, right? That they need to make their money back. And
I thought we're going to pay for that. We're gonna look out for that email again.
Yeah, your Netflix subscription's gone up by £10. What? Yeah.
Well, here's FIFA
though. Cool. So I'm up next, and I have actually been playing games, surprisingly, because I feel like I don't get much time for that with enough energy. But anyway, so some of the games I've been playing Animal Crossing. I've been on set a lot recently, and then the Animal Crossing update happened, and I was like, having my Switch on set and is perfect, especially for like early mornings. Animal Crossing is like a nice chill game to have, and like it's easy to dip in and out of. So yeah, I've jumped back into Animal Crossing after like years of not being on it, so that's fun. I played some Lego Fortnite for games night, and then I've dabbled in our little server a couple of times since. And then I continued the playthrough that I started of Uncharted 4, which I started on stream in like November, and then didn't come back to until like the other night when I had my projector set up because my TV broke, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna plug my PlayStation and continue Uncharted. So yeah, but I'm like maybe like a third of the way through, and it's just so nice to have like a linear story-driven game. I'm like, this is exactly what I need. Like, not too long, but a good amount, and just linear, a good balance of action. I will say the beginning of the game had way too many cutscenes. Like, it was just
there's a lot of backstory.
Yeah, and I was like, I want to play. This is not playing, I'm watching. Should have had it as like a watch before, like FYI. Watch this and then play.
Right. Here's this YouTube link.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Now I'm into the thick of it. It's the cutscenes aren't too much. It's just a little bit at the beginning of each like chapter.
It's one you can play Crash Bandicoot in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the beginning. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's like relighting the fire of what I love about games, which felt like it was like just kept getting stamped out by loading screens and forever onlineness and ridiculously open world and too many side quests. Nigel, what are your games?
So I've got a few things. Also playing Lego Fortnite because I was also there for that live stream. I thought it was worth shouting out because we've done that 3 times now for the live stream. And even though, despite what you just said about sort of never-ending games, I thought it's worth shouting out because I'm quite impressed by that game because it's free and it's very. I remember when we played it for the first time, and my impression of it was like a, I don't know, like a half effort just to get people hooked in. And I guess that's ultimately what it is. But it is a substantial like game we have gone back to, and I feel not only every time it obviously continues because we've got a existing world set up, but there's new stuff in there, and it's just interesting. I can at the same time see the value in it, and also the worry on people who don't make those kind of games, how it could just take up all the time an individual might have playing games, especially because it's free. And I imagine a lot of young people on it grow up playing these kind of games, so there's a whole conundrum there, I'm sure. But yeah, as an experience, it's a solid experience. So I was very impressed. Continue to be impressed with that game. I am also playing Sifu.
Nice. I recently was replaying it. Boy, yeah, that game is a serious game.
This is a serious game.
This is.
So I really like this game, and I don't think I can play it anymore. I was talking to Lau, who's a friend and the other My Matter co-founder, who's no longer involved, because he's also played. I think he's either nearly finished it or just finished it. I was saying to him, like, I don't think I could play this game anymore. I love it, and the reason is, and this is fully a me reason. So before I I think the game is great. It is essentially, so you play this martial arts student who starts off, it's a whole revenge story. So he's looking for revenge on people that killed his father.
Well, you can be either a man or a woman. You can choose.
Oh, cool. Oh, actually, wait, did I? Yeah, I did. Yeah, because I started it a while ago, so I forgot that part. Okay, I reverted to type. But so you're on this mission, and it's a roguelike, right? Is that the right phrase?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so. In that you go each time and you improve, and if you don't improve, then
you restart. And there's this whole mechanic around failure. So if you fail, you age, and as you age, you like your character gets older. And apparently I can't deal with that. I don't know if that's just too close to life. It was fine when he started off in the 20s, but as I started, this game started getting harder, and the numbers started adding up. I'm like, whoa, this feels like I have an actual problem with this. So I was saying to Lau, like, I don't know if I can continue this. And then he explained how the mechanic works, so you can progress, but you can also come back. So the idea is you get better, so you can redo levels, and you don't die as much. You don't get as old. So yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can handle that again. But my hang-ups about aging and mortality aside, I think is really cool. It is essentially a martial arts film you're playing, and I'm sure there are other sort of, if not similar games in terms of mechanics, but similar like the martial arts feel. But this just feels so much like those kind of Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan films. And it's just great. I just don't know if I can continue playing it, which is just a weird bit. I've never been in that position as a game with a game. So there's that. So I may just come back to that at some point. And a game I've got no problem coming back to is God of War Ragnarök, which is fantastic. And
yes.
Thank you. There we go. That's the response I was looking for.
100%.
So I've been playing the Valhalla DLC because I started it, and then I think I had a moment of maybe I should give other games a chance, and then I stopped playing it, and then I played Astrobot. That was it. I got into that. Also a fantastic game. So I never actually finished it. So recently I've come out, all right, let me finish this and get through it. So this is the game. This is a roguelike type game, and it made me realize I don't think I've played a roguelike before.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, you know why I say that? So playing the game, and I got to what I thought was the end, and without spoiling, just the final battle, and I was like, okay, I did it, cool, wrap up. I was doing the whole patting myself on the back, let's see these credits, let's move on to the next one. And then it's like, oh, we'll see you again. Like, what do you mean, for what? I just beat you. What are you talking about? See you again. I just beat you. That's not how that works. No, you have to do another run, and you have to sort of like go through it. I was like, oh, is that how that works? I don't think I've played a roguelike before. So that was a learning experience for me. But yeah, it's God of War, so it's great. It's essentially just the pure mechanics of it. So you just get to go again and again was a very impressive sort of battle system. But what I like about it is the story they've mapped to the gameplay type. So it continues on from the God of War Ragnarök game, but adds what I'll describe as essentially a therapy session for Kratos. I think that's the best way I can describe it. But it's interesting, just the story elements that are pulled out and how it kind of links to the game. I think I'm on the last run, so I think I'm there. It's one of those where, as a player, I need to get better. It's actually forcing me to get better at the combat, because when you get to that last bit, you do actually need to know what you're doing. And not that I didn't know what I was doing before, but yeah, I've had to actually pay more attention than perhaps I did for the previous game. So hopefully by the next deep dive episode, I will have finished this and I'll be able to once again talk about God of War, which I know Tazziii can't get enough of me doing, but I still got a little bit to go. So hang in there, Tazziii. Still a little bit to go.
So that has been the games everyone has been playing. Let's dive into the news stories for our roundtable.
And we've arrived at the news section. So this is the part of the roundtable where we like to pick out stories from across the video game landscape that caught our attention and discuss them with our panelists. So these are the stories we think are really worth digging into and finding out what they actually mean for players, for creators, for the industry at large. So we've got a few stories. The way we like to do it, we like to start off with a main news story and then try and touch on at least Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, and see what else we got time for. So we will dive straight in to our main news story, which is all about Steam, actually. So Valve's Steam machine, and also the delay of the Steam machine and Steam frame, because there's a lot around this which speaks to Valve's efforts in gaming, but also just where the industries, especially the hardware side of the industry, are at. So for those that don't know, as of February 2026, Valve have confirmed the rapidly increasing price of PC components has delayed its announcement of the Steam machine and Steam frame VR headset pricing and release dates. So they were originally planned for early 2026, but the delay is due to the ongoing RAM and storage shortages that are impacting pretty much the entire tech industry. So, by the way, was anyone interested in buying RAM and now is going to hold off on that because of the price? Because that's me.
I was looking to upgrade to a PC. I still use a gaming laptop to stream, and I was looking to just, maybe upgrade to a half decent gaming PC just to move my stream onto there, clear up a bit of desk space, that kind of thing. And yeah, I just keep looking at prices going up and up and up. And then you go over to Facebook and someone else has posted a cartoon AI picture of them, and I'm like, oh, cheers.
Yeah.
Can you stop increasing the price of RAM, please?
That's funny, but also true.
Yeah.
that is where we are. So this is from Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle, who highlighted that while the original announcement of the Steam machine was in November 2025, and then they put out a early 2026 launch window. But interestingly, no official pricing, which as of recording is still the case. But Valve had said that if you build a PC from parts and get to basically the same level of performance, that's the general price window that we aim to be at, which is very vague. I feel that's like
incredibly vague.
Yeah, that's like a lot of words to say really nothing at all. But it had been estimated that, so based on the components inside the Steam machine, it could go for around $700. But again, since that, prices have got, specifically memory storage prices, have gone up significantly worldwide, with DRAM prices increasing by over 170% year on year. So my question to you all is, how much do you think this will impact the price of the Steam machine and its availability? Because I get the sense that everyone's struggling to make things right now.
Well, in my opinion, I feel like it needs to be ideally cheaper than what it would cost to build a PC yourself. Because if I'm being completely honest, I don't know much about the Steam machine, but I don't understand why you'd get that over building your own PC. It makes no sense to me. If it was me, I'd rather just build a PC and then I can game from it. And if I wanted even a portable one, I'll just get the Steam Deck. I feel like if it's going to cost the same to create or to build a PC as opposed to like buying a Steam machine, I don't understand why you'd choose a Steam machine over a PC. I guess that'll be something they will delve into, but I don't know. It just feels like unless it's going to be very slightly, even slightly cheaper than a PC as average PC build, it doesn't seem much point of getting a Steam machine, especially if you have other consoles. But yeah, that's my opinion because I don't know much about the Steam machine.
You're not seeing the point, just full stop.
Yeah,
Okay.
until they bring out a bit more, I don't know why you'd pick that over a PC where you can do PC not just for gaming, for work, for anything. Yeah, I just don't see the point currently.
I think because if you buy most people aren't building their own PC, but like most people are buying a pre-built, and they're expensive.
They are.
I'm still a fan of it because I think it still will add enough competition to the console space where I think we need competition specifically to Microsoft. And I feel like this is, I don't know, we'll see. I don't think I think the price is going to be an issue though. If they can't keep the cost down, then I think it's just I think gaming in general is struggling at the moment in terms of like new devices to play on.
100%. That's why the price is so important. If the price is low enough, that will trump like other consoles. It will trump like anyone wanting to build a PC if the price is right. If they overprice it to like £800 or something like that, and it's not affordable to the average person, then I don't see how it will succeed.
It's gonna, if it can go toe to toe with the Series X and the PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation 5 Pro, what prices are you going to be calling it at? Because they're peaked at about like what's the price of an Xbox Series X now? 400-500. Is it going to be worth throwing another £300 on top of that for us just to get access to Steam? Especially depending on what the games people are going to play on it, and that does bring a lot into play. But I still think they're going to it's going to be outpriced. People are going to just sit there and go, I'm just going to buy a pre-built PC for an extra £200.
Yeah. I will say though, even if it's like £200 more expensive than an Xbox Series X or a PS5 Pro, I think it will still be worth it because games are so dead cheap on it that you will save that money quickly, and you can still use it as a PC.
And I think the other thing worth bearing in mind, though, is that if reports are to be believed, the next Xbox is basically going to be a PC.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
With the Xbox kind of interface on top, and if that is true, then strategically this is the right direction for Steam, because essentially what they're doing is they're then competing in a way with Xbox directly, because they're getting a console in people, or an accessible console in people's households that can access the Steam library. And if you think about it from Valve's perspective as the company who puts out Steam, like they are making 30% of every game sold on their platform. So it is in their best interest to sell as many titles on their platform. So the more people who are accessing the Steam platform, the more valuable and more money they make. So I think this makes sense to me in terms of them creating a console. I echo everything that's already been said in terms of the price point. I think that's going to make it or break it. But I imagine the target demo for this type of console is going to be people who already own a console. They might own a Switch, they might own a PS5. They've always considered gaming on a PC, but they didn't really quite know where to start. They, as you said, some of the custom builds or the pre-builds are far too expensive, but they want something that is relatively plug and play, and you don't have to deal with updating drivers. I mean, you probably will, but they want it to be pretty simple system, in the same way that the Steam Deck is, right?
Yeah.
That you can just play some games, download some games, and play them. If they can deliver that, then I think they've got a potentially winning thing. And I know we've been talking a lot about the Steam Machine, but I think the Steam Frame, which I think is the VR headset, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of VR.
Oh, good.
And more specifically, because I think Half-Life Alyx is maybe one of the best games that's been made recently.
I've heard
I think,
this.
yeah, for me, it's the last time I felt a generational jump in gaming. In the same way, like when you went from 2D to Mario 64 3D, or when going from through games from standard definition to high definition. For me, the jump into like Half-Life Alyx and the implementation of VR felt that big of a jump. And the problem they've had with Half-Life Alyx, and I don't quite know why, but they've only kept that game to accessible via Steam. Like it's not available on MetaQuest, it's not available on PSVR. So this could be another opportunity for them to kind of really push that title. The challenge is, and the problem is though, is that the rest of the VR space is kind of dwindling, unfortunately, even though I think Quest is the market leader.
Yeah. It does seem like that. Like everything is I was going to say falling apart. Maybe it's not far from the truth. It just feels like that. But and just to add the context, so Valve did announce 3 new pieces of hardware for Steam. So the console, Steam Machine, the VR headset, Steam Frame, and a brand new version of the Steam controller. I know they had one before, but there's completely different one. And what's interesting about the Steam Machine is that it's essentially, cause I think it was nicknamed the Gabe Cube.
Yeah.
So after the Valve founder Gabe Newell, and then a mashup of the Game Cube, because it is just a black cube, just a bit larger than the old Game Cube from Nintendo. But yeah, so that visual for people.
Yeah, I do think as well with both is bringing up the Steam Frame. So both for the now I just want to call it the GameCube and the Steam Frame. It comes at a time where people are not trusting or liking Microsoft or Meta and would happily move off being in their like ecosystems, because the SteamOS is a Linux-based operating system, and
has more positive vibes around it. Even though when it started, people weren't feeling it, but eventually they got there.
But I think that's also in their benefit. Is like, hey, we're not Microsoft, we're not Meta. Here you go. Here's some platforms. So we'll see. It will be very interesting. I think they do have a market there, though. I don't think it will like completely flop, even if the price is higher than expected.
Yeah.
What's higher than expected?
Like 800.
Okay, so if it's 800, you can still see it working.
Yeah.
I mean, the Xbox ROG Ally, the is that an Asus handheld thing? I think the premium version of that is like 800 or so.
Yeah, I think that goes into 1,000.
And that was
before higher than that,
yeah. So I mean,
and it might go up.
Right. And so I think early adopters will always support these things. In terms of whether the mass market will. And one of the other questions you asked was about availability. This is all, whether or not the price is high or not, the real challenge is, are they going to be able to get enough for people to buy?
Yeah.
And at the moment, I don't think anyone really knows the answer to that because of everything that's going on with RAMs and accessing them and getting them out to consumers at a price that is viable. Like, I think that's tough.
Yeah, they'd have to. I feel like they'd have to make some deal with someone.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I get the impression, because my initial reaction to this is it sounds cool, but I'm not sure who this is for. And if I think about the Steam Deck, I mean, I know it's successful, it's considered a success, but then I feel, I don't have the numbers to hand, but I feel if you compare it to, then what was it was in that same realm of like the Switch. And obviously the Switch is selling way more than the Steam Deck. And I almost felt like collectively, if you like put all consoles in one, they've got that collective space in people's mind of this is what I go to get the thing that I put under the TV to plug in to play games. Whereas, as Janelle kind of touched on earlier, I thought the people, and this is my initial impressions, the people who are going to be interested in this already have that space filled by I can make my own PC. So that question will come out, why would I make that? But then if they can, obviously they might have a different strategy and where they're going to put this, it's convenience. And I think, yeah, don't underestimate people. We're all connected to multiple streaming services unnecessarily because of convenience. So don't underestimate that.
I feel personally attacked.
You would be both. I'm just a self-attack, yeah.
And also, if we look at what the Steam Deck did, even though, you know, it was like the Switch is still outselling it, what it did is it literally paved the way for like
the whole
everyone
market, really.
else to be like, oh, if Steam is challenging Nintendo, like we've all got a like piece of this pie. And I think that's the exciting part. Is
Steam
like
hit Goliath. It's like, oh, he bleeds.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to like outsell an existing console. It just has to do enough damage to open up the market and for competition to be possible, because the giants are too big and they need toppling. We need more competition.
Definitely need competition, yeah.
Because what we were saying before as well about where is the Steam machine being marketed to? If you already have a PC, why would you necessarily get the Steam machine, if that makes sense? Because you can replay Steam games. Like with the Steam Deck, obviously it's portable, it's different. That's my only thing. Like I wouldn't feel inclined to buy it, at least unless it goes in discount or something, because I have a PC where I can play Steam games anyway. So that was my only thing. Like, why would someone who has a PC buy the Steam machine?
I would buy it.
I would buy it because
I'd love to know why.
I am that audience that Nigel said about earlier on. That is, I don't want to be updating drivers. I don't want to be. I hate convenience. I am a convenience gamer, which is why I've always got a console. I've got a great laptop which I use for streaming, but I don't touch it for gaming because I'm like, I don't want to have to faff about. I don't want to be updating drivers, trying to download EA Play, this portal, that portal. I just want to switch my Xbox on and play the game. And if Steam do give me that option, I'm gonna go with it. And like it like you said, I might not get it if it's £800, or I might not get it if Xbox come out with their version next year, because I'll be like, I'll just get that and wait. But if it was a reasonable price point, or like you said, I get it on sale, I would be that target market of I'm a convenience gamer. Yeah.
See, I don't mind updating and whatever else. So I'm like, save my money.
I will also add to that. So for me, I'm currently using a potato. I can't actually play half of my Steam library.
Fair enough.
My laptop sounds on par to my PS4 when I play games on it.
Oh wow.
And even my gaming laptop, I actually have set up so that it opens automatically in Steam Big Picture. So it's kind of a Steam machine.
So fair enough. If you have a gaming laptop or something, then
it's not optimized. So for me, like the biggest barrier for me personally, and also like building a PC, I built my baby and I love it, and I'm really glad I did. But I'm a busy person, and I also can't afford to have my computer not like working for any amount of time. I also use it to edit everything. And this would be the convenience of a console, but with the openness of a computer, because you can use it still as just a computer. They've said that.
I didn't catch that. Fair
console. Enough. You can upgrade the memory without having to buy, as in like the hard drive, without having to buy like a very specific one, like on the Xbox, which is ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Not that like all memories go ridiculous price, but at least I've got a bigger market to make that storage upgrade.
No, fair enough then. I didn't know functions had the actual PC as well, like properly, then fair enough.
Yeah, but my biggest issue would be like software compatibility. But I'm thinking like if Steam do this, if Steam can pull it off, then there'll be way more compatibility with Linux based operating systems. And if they do that, if they push that, like because more gamers will be using it, means that
Yeah.
more companies will have to make their software, are more inclined to make their software accessible to Linux users, because gamers are big software users of like everything. Then it also just challenges again the giant Microsoft for operating systems in general. If they do that, I'm all down for the Steam. If I can use like Elgato software on Linux, the Steam machine is like the go-to, the easy thing.
Huh. That's interesting.
And I don't
Okay,
have
so
to deal with Microsoft updates anymore. Oh my god.
yeah, actually, I had that earlier today. Just started updating when it was on nearly zero battery. I was like, this is not. It really should do a battery check before you try and update the thing that could brick it if the battery fails. But anyway, I'm sure they're working on that. Who knows?
I
The
don't
other thing I
know,
was
they
just going to
didn't
say.
fix the Windows 10 update issue until like
Oh yeah.
very recently. Even though Windows 10 is no longer supported, and then
Supported,
that's
I
when
know.
they fixed it. Anyway.
But that's, you know what, that's the reason why I upgraded my PC, because they were stopping all the support for Windows 10. And that's what forced me to upgrade. So I just was able to get all my RAM and my GPU and all that, and CPU upgraded.
Got in just in time.
Yeah, so I was
Just in
lucky, but it
time.
was because I was literally hanging on onto Windows 10.
I held off, and then they were like, we are pushing security support, continued security support for Windows 10, because so many people did not switch.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just the security updates for a year, so until this October 2026. And then I imagine they'll kick everyone off, or just extend. I don't know. At some point, because they do not want to be on Windows 10 for many reasons. I do think the pricing and everything. I feel. I don't know this because I don't work in any of these companies, or I'm not an analyst. But I feel like this memory thing has taken people by surprise. I feel like it's genuinely similar to the graphics card scenario, where because of NFT bros, the prices of graphics cards just went up ridiculously.
But is it an offense to humanity that is?
Don't get me started on that.
I feel this is similar, but worse, because I feel like, unlike the NFT thing, which I just always like a fad and everything's going to go away, I feel like this AI thing isn't. It might be a crash and whatever, but I feel like this is a thing that is going to be around, is going to stick around, and everyone is going to be on it. So
like I said earlier on, I don't think they're expecting people to, like I said, by people, I don't think they're expecting like your aunt to go on to ChatGPT and get it to create a cartoon caricature of you for your Facebook profile picture or your Instagram story or whatever. And I do think that's kind of come out of the blue and knocked it for six, because people weren't probably expecting it to be used by everyone.
Just everyone.
Yeah.
So the most meaningless.
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
the meaningless side of it, but then there's also, there's a lot of, I don't know if everyone else has noticed this, I've noticed a lot of new businesses that are AI startup companies.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want to make a judgment to people who are doing that, but it sounds like I will.
But
it's low effort in a way. And
for big return, at least short term. Anyway.
Right, for short term. And so I imagine there's a little bit of a fake gold rush type vibe thing that's going on. And I imagine, I expect at some point for that to die down, because they're going to realize that actually people aren't investing in it, people aren't buying the products or the AI related content or whatever it is that the services they're providing. It's all pulling from the various same LLMs, so you're roughly getting the same thing. There's no real big difference between this particular service provider and the other. So I feel like it's going to run its course, but how long that might take, how long that will then impact the rest of the industry, who knows?
Yeah, and what's the damage essentially will do in the time. But I think because of that, these companies like Valve and anyone else who was thinking about sort of new hardware, we'll get to in a moment, it's like, we actually don't know what what we can charge this for, given that I feel in games now, whereas before, I think except for Nintendo, the console was almost a loss leader. Just get it out, get people buying the games. Well, I feel companies seem less inclined to do that, and they want the console to make money, and not just make money, but make a profit. And this RAM thing is like, actually, this is like genuinely eating into our profits. How are we gonna price and like let alone make enough to price it?
The problem is consoles are too expensive to make. AAA games are too expensive to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's just play Lego Fortnite forget everything else.
So I feel like a lot of company like especially like these big companies have had their heads like in this mindset of like, this is how we're going to make games and consoles and profit from it, and then they're like, no, this is how we're going to do it. And even though there's signs showing that, okay, you might have to think of different strategies and like not, and like maybe pivot a bit, they're like, no, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah, just gonna
until they
keep going back to the
eventually are
well.
going to have to be like, oh no, we can't do it. Like,
Yeah.
It's very hard to change that direction though, because if you look at games that recently have, what is the recent one? The T2KO, the fighting game from Riot, right? They spent 10 years on that, right? So that's 10 years of developer time, paying a team of over 200 people to build a game, and it ultimately not, unfortunately, working out. I think sometimes it's too, the ship's already sailed for a lot of these developers and these companies, and they feel like they've got to make their money back. So
yeah. No, I totally get that, but they keep sailing more ships.
Oh yeah, they do.
that are going to take equally as long.
They need to kill the harbour.
Send another one to find out where the first one went.
And you're like, maybe we shouldn't be making 10-year-long games. Like, it's like a trend that you can spot it now. You can stop starting the missions.
Right. That's a fair point. I was going to ask, who the Steam machine will have more impact on, like PC or console games market. It sounds, as you've been talking, like specifically Xbox. that's like the name that keeps coming up. So yeah, do you feel like this is a threat to Xbox specifically, or is there anyone else that should be concerned?
I don't think it's a threat, because I think the reality though is that you will probably at some point be able to, and well, you will, it's 100% confirmed, you will be able to run whatever you want on a Steam machine. So you can run Game Pass PC or Game Pass Ultimate, whatever they call it, right?
Actually, fair point. Yeah.
So you'll be able to run that. It's another way of just accessing video games. So I don't see it as a massive competition to them. Obviously, I mean, and I'm kind of a weird gamer in regards of like I have a Series X. I don't have a PS5. I've traditionally been a PlayStation person up until this generation, and I started to go for Xbox. But I have a PC, and I normally keep it well, up to date. And I've been playing a lot of the PlayStation exclusives on my PC. So I wait a year or so, and then I play them there. I don't think there's many people like me who do that, but maybe there's an audience who want to play, as I said, some titles that are cheap, but accessing titles that they might not have been able to access before. So if you're just like a Switch user, there's tons of games that you would be able to access by having a Steam machine, whether it is the exclusives from Xbox that make it over to PC or the ones from Sony. And then there's obviously a ton of great indie titles out there.
I was just about to say, it's going to be a win for indie game developers, 100%.
So yeah, 100%. Whether or not it's competing directly with Xbox, I think if anything, rising tide raises all boats. Maybe it will help amplify the entire kind of ecosystem. Maybe it will just help more people.
Definitely, I definitely think it will just like shake it all up and just a different way of doing things.
Yeah, I mean, I think that any competition that does come is good. I think we're seeing them in other areas where lack of competition is not good for consumers. So I'd be interested to see how much first of all, how much, then when, and then can I get it, and then who's it gonna impact after that. So we're still waiting on those details, but let us know your thoughts on if you're looking out for a Steam machine, if you're ready to ditch the Xbox and jump on board with another option. And actually, speaking of Microsoft, let's touch on Microsoft, because I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by Microsoft and what's going on. And I'll preface this by saying I do remember this must have been around 2020, and when Game Pass was quote unquote the best deal in gaming. And I remember thinking, like, this felt to me one of those situations where a happy merging of corporate interests with consumer benefit, which is good, which is kind of what you want. So the way Microsoft had been going with their strategy in terms of like everything's a service, wanting to get people on board, friendly pricing, friendly, simple pricing for their Game Pass service just happened to match with what the consumer kind of wanted. Like I said earlier, convenience, all the games you can play day one. And then the corporate interest changed and then they wanted to see something a little bit different. So yeah, I'll be interested to know what you guys think. I mean, they have had a positive start to 2026 because they had their Xbox Developer Direct, which I didn't watch because we'll probably get to in a bit. Just and we've spoken about before. Just so many live streams and only so much time. But I did sort of catch up and listen to discussions around it. I do like what they do because it's quite focused. So they showed 4 games: Beast of Reincarnation, Forza Horizon 6, which is known entity, Kiln, which is from Double Fine, which was a surprise, and Fable, which was the one that everyone wanted to know more about. So I quite like that focus. Just here are 4 games, you can pay attention to them, and then kind of decide what you want. Nice sort of variety in terms of the types of games. So kind of as we talk about Xbox, I'm interested to know, actually, did anyone watch that? Is anyone interested in those games? Any of those games?
Interested in Fable. Didn't know about Kiln. I am now interested because
check it out. It's weird. It's a weird looking game.
Fine games before, so
yeah, I'm a self-confessed Xbox like fanboy, so I definitely watched it. All yeah, right. I think it's Fable, isn't it? Let's be honest. That's what everyone was waiting for. Like Forza.
Been waiting for so long.
Yeah, everyone's been
6 years,
like,
7 years.
Yeah, I'm 32, so I played Fable when like it first came out, and you just want that nostalgia hit of kicking a chicken. Let's be honest. And yeah, I think everyone's been waiting for Fable. The fact that it's coming to PlayStation as well, straight off the bat. I think.
How do you feel about that?
It's a big. I am so. I like, even as a like self-professed Xbox fanboy, I have a PlayStation. Okay. I've always pretty much had both. I only missed the PS3, I think, but I'm against console wars. I think it's ridiculous. So just let people play the games on the consoles they want is my kind of attitude.
Okay. I was hoping we had the Xbox fanboy was like, no, this is a travesty.
Yeah, they've put Halo on Xbox. It's gone. It's fine. Sorry, they've put Halo on PlayStation. The moment Halo goes onto PlayStation, you know you've lost the
Halo, Gears of War. Yeah, it's horrible.
They're the icons. But I think I prefer this style, like you've said, of just showcasing 3 or 4 big games and not just showing, because the previous one I thought was the worst Xbox showcase for a long time. It just felt very heavy on JRPGs, and like people were like, oh my god, it's going to talk about James Bond, and they showed car DLC and nothing about Fable, which was what everyone wanted. And I think they kind of put this one in at the start of the year and went, we need to make this one big, which is why the Fable stuff came out. And Kiln looks brilliant. Like, it's not my normal cup of tea, but it's like, hold on, you make a Potter? What? And yeah.
I mean, I don't think you've seen a game like this before.
No, we've not seen a game like that, which is what I was kind of like, okay, I'm here for this, because it's so left field. It's out there. But I think Forza's should be great because it's Forza. It's a staple
and also
name.
PlayStation.
And again, it's again PlayStation. They've got everything coming to PlayStation. I think Xbox have just kind of given up with the console wars. Let's be honest. You could argue they lost it. Let's be quite brutal here. But they've kind of gone. Yeah. So we're just going to make you look like the bad guys by throwing everything on your console. And they're putting it on Game Pass as well. Like you've said, opens it up for when, if a Steam machine does launch, people are going to be subscribing to Game Pass for access to things like Fable if they are day one releases, which I think it is actually. So people are going to be subscribing to Game Pass on PCs, Steam machines, if it's out by then or whenever. And I do think Xbox have kind of buried the console wars, gone, let's not worry about that, and just concentrated on getting games out there to the masses to get people to subscribe to Game Pass. I genuinely think that's
Okay.
I have disappointments. So I'm also 32, but I did not play Fable when it came out because I was on a PlayStation, and then when I did finally get my Xbox 360 and played Fable, like no one was really playing it, and I was loving it, but I wanted like the co-op side of it was what I was like really excited about for this Fable. And I don't think it's been officially said, and there's very strong rumors that it's not co-op, and that is a massive disappointment to me because I was like very much looking forward.
That was the one you wanted.
Yeah, that was like I was like, yay! I get to actually be like at Fable when Fable happens and play with people, which is a similar disappointment that I had with Halo Infinite when it was like, I'm excited for this like open world-ish Halo and I can play co-op with my friends. And then we waited forever to get that co-op launch, and I really did not latch on to Halo Infinite like campaign because what was that?
Oh no, I really liked it.
I'm glad you did. Even like a year, maybe year and a half after it came out, I was still encountering loads of glitches.
Infinite's the first Halo I never completed.
Yeah, same.
That says it all. Yeah, and
I just didn't feel like I felt nothing. Like playing it, I felt nothing. I've never felt nothing playing a Halo game, and I was late to Halo.
Preach.
And so now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna join Fable. Am I gonna join at the wrong point? Like it's gonna be this no co-op single player experience. Like I now am not as excited for Fable when I was so excited when we got that first little announcement, however many years ago that was. And now it's been so long since then, so momentum has dropped anyway. And then they're like, oh, we're not doing co-op. I'm like, no, I want to play games with people, and I love the idea of playing something that is like co-op adventure, co-op story.
Yeah,
I wanna do that. I wanna.
If it makes you feel better, I don't actually think the multiplayer brought that much to Fable, controversially, because is it controversial because it limited you on what you could do? You couldn't go around like you weren't in each other's games, like you weren't in one game together. You were in someone else's game, so I don't believe you could go around and like buy your own house. You had to kind of use your friends' houses and stuff like that. So you kind of just played alongside them in tandem, like you were kind of basically just following them around while they did their story or whatever. So
no, but it was still playing together. Like it's like any any couch co-op, you would only be playing the person's game. That doesn't destroy it. That's not what bothers me.
You just wanted to be able to play.
And you could massively
kick a chicken with a friend,
you could massively affect someone's game. I know because someone broke my game. Like you could massively influence each other's games, and then it had like the thing where if someone done like you could like leave stuff in the game for someone, and I really like that. I like that kind of co-op experience. There's plenty of other games that I've played that you're only progressing the person who's hosting's game. Doesn't make it any less fun, and for me actually it makes it a lot of fun because normally I'm playing with someone who has experience with that franchise or that style of game, and so they're like really excited to help me along and show me things, and I really enjoy that.
I think like Fable is quite a big one for Microsoft because, well, I guess now it's Microsoft and Sony, but it's sort of seen as one of the big tentpole first party games from Microsoft, as you know, proof Microsoft can still make great games. It has a long history because it was started by Lionhead Studios, and a game started by Peter Molyneux. People of a certain age will recognize Peter Molyneux as a British game designer, and I heard someone describe him as a liar. I feel that's harsh, but he would often make big promises about games and didn't quite work out. But I personally, I respected the swings they took. I do one of my favorite games, Black and White, where you basically play as a god and you have this entity on Earth and you're managing people. It was rough around the edges in places, but yeah, I liked what was being done. And then the game was taken over by Playground Games, who make the Forza Horizon series. So it's also there. I mean, we know what they can do in terms of putting four wheels on something, but yeah, this open world action RPG, and it comes with all the feelings and nostalgia of the previous game. So yeah, it's seen as a big thing. So it's due to come out autumn of this year after having no release date for a long while. I would still put, I mean, I put an asterisk on every release date, but I feel GTA, everything's like asterisks. What's GTA doing? And then we'll see what we do with our game.
Definitely.
Yeah, in accordance. So we'll see. But I think it's one of those things where this game has to work in a sense. So I imagine there's a fair amount of pressure on the developers, which I guess comes with the territory, but also is a shame because people are looking at this. This has to work. This has to prove Microsoft can make games, whether they're going to put them on their console only or other people's consoles. And that comes in the background of, yeah, like I said, with this segment, just what are Microsoft doing? I guess that's my question. What are they doing? Someone asked, and I'll add this in there. Are Microsoft destroying the Xbox brand? Question mark.
Yeah, they've got to throw their last. I don't know if it's the last like chances, but like they put all of this big thing behind Starfield, right?
Oh yeah.
And Starfield wasn't again what we expected, and like you've said,
yeah, but it was a good game. Right?
It was a good game, yeah. But it's kind
people
of
needed an excellent game. Right?
Yeah, and people needed an excellent, polished game on arrival, and just to kind of because Xbox haven't had coming from Xbox Studios, they haven't had a massive hitter. You could argue some time now. And like you said, are Microsoft slowly destroying the brand by buying all of these studios? And since Microsoft have bought these studios, they haven't actually produced a big hitter.
I think it's really challenging though, right? Because when the question is, well, the question you're asking about is, is this damaging their brand? I think they are still putting out good games. I would say, like there are a number of good games that are coming out, and also if you look at it from their perspective, they have Game Pass, right? There are phenomenal games that get released on Game Pass almost every 2 weeks. If you look back at last year, some of the biggest games that came out, and I'm pretty sure Metaphor came out last year as well.
The Fantasio.
Yeah, did that come out last year, 2025?
I'm going to say yes.
I think so,
No,
right?
actually, I think it might have been the year before,
Oh, okay. But like they have big games from, Atlas, from Sega. They had Clair Obscur was part of Expedition 33 was part of Game Pass. They get a lot of Kepler titles, not just them, but things like Sifu, and then the one that the other team did, Slow Clap Rematch. So they have a ton of great titles that come to their platform, and so Xbox players get to play a variety of fantastic games. But as you say, if we talk about Xbox, I think people always think about the core IPs, right? Gears of War, Halo, Forza, Fable, I guess, as well. And they haven't all lived up to people's expectations. I guess that's a fair point to make, but are people's expectations maybe a bit too high? Or, I mean, I don't know.
You can't ever meet nostalgia's expectations because they're expecting nostalgia, and you can't reach that.
But I think Forza's been doing well.
Forza's been, I think Forza's universally, this is a fantastic game.
They've been carrying.
I think, but they don't. Forza doesn't do the numbers as what It doesn't have the tempo feeling that a Last of Us does, or whatever
that cultural impact as well.
Yeah, and although it might be it's very very good and it reviews very well, and people who play it thinks they're very good. It doesn't seem to hit the same way, the whole kind of the culture, the phenomenon, all of those things, which makes me think, okay, well, maybe this isn't a question of quality. This is a question of positioning and perception. Yeah, absolutely. And I do wonder if there's maybe some of the biases maybe warranted, but maybe some of it is down to murkier hands at play. I don't know, in terms of like
Yeah,
what is, what is considered to be good in the
good. Yeah.
culture.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with are they destroying their brand? Because it's not even necessarily the games or just the games, but over the past 18 months, we've seen things like they had the initial thing of we're going to put some games on other platforms, and then Phil Spencer had to come out and say, oh no, it's just these 4 games, and then later on it's like, oh no, it's other games as well. They closed down sort of studios of if not doing the massive numbers that you might not even expect anyway as realistic for an indie like Hi-Fi Rush and things like that, closing down studios.
Sure.
And then the pricing, so they've had like not 1 but 2 price increases of Game Pass, to the point where I think we talked about it possibly on the previous roundtable, where it's one of those where I know for me personally, because I've actually cancelled Game Pass, I might come back to it at some point, but it was that thing where before it was low enough where I could just leave it, and I was paying through like the business account anyway, so technically it's not me, but still as a business expense, it was low enough where I could just leave it, and if we needed it for an event, that's kind of what it was there for. And then there's a point where even if because I could have dropped down to a lower tier, but when you up it to a point where I now notice it, now I have to ask the question, do I even need this at all? Or can I just save money by cancelling it? So I cancelled it, and I might come back to it. So there's that, and then the game. So it just feels like Microsoft are starting to make moves that maybe for the shareholders that all this works, but as a brand, like what is the point of having a Xbox now if I can play the games on another console anyway?
Yeah, if you look at my Xbox usage, like when Game Pass was launched up until like maybe a couple of years ago, like I was on Game Pass. Like I was Game Pass's biggest advocate.
Yeah. we got the tapes.
Yeah, we have the tapes. And then over like the past couple of years, it just feels like it has been assault after. Like I feel like this is what it feels like. It feels like being with a partner, and then their true colors come out.
Ooh.
And you realize that they're
Ouch.
actually extremely toxic, and this whole time
they
have just been
makes
like,
you question everything that came before,
putting a facade on. Because it's not like, it's little
That's
things
deep.
like when they got rid of Gold and then put the Game Pass Basic, was like not Gold but whatever, like Xbox Live, and they changed Game Pass, moved like Game Pass Basic to fill that, so you would get game. They also made it so that any games that you got with Games with Gold, you no longer owned. When all of those years of me having Gold and then it moved into Xbox Live, I was getting games and they were in my library. All of it even says games that you owned in my games that you own in my library. I had to go through and hide everything that I don't actually own because they'd done that. And like that was just like the icing on the cake.
Yeah,
for
don't get me
me.
started on game ownage now. Like, I'm already
Like,
sad that physical media is like disappearing when it comes to
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
gaming, let
No, it's
alone like
dying, yeah.
this.
And so it's like this constant like, oh, we like it just feels icky. And they're not just putting out a message and being like, like, cool, if you want to change your direction, you want to change your brand, do it, but please do it with chest. And it doesn't feel like they're doing it with chest. That it feels icky.
They're still
like
trying to keep the mask.
Yeah, everything keeps like getting like, oh, this, but actually no, but this, but actually no, but this, but actually, and like that's what feels icky. Like I get that they want to change the subscription model, but the way they're doing it feels like a betrayal to their long-term fans.
Right.
And I've seen the comments under some of the things they've done, and it has been like Xbox from day. Like I'm not an Xbox from day. I was like just a few like 2 or 3 generations. There are people that have like been Xbox from that first horrid, disgusting giant box that I was like, I am never ever getting one of those in my life.
That's a brick and a half.
They've had people like that were like, yeah, no, I've been with Xbox from its conception, and I'm leaving. Like I don't
See, that's what it does.
to make your audience feel like that have gone through like the launch of like the Xbox One with you.
Yeah, that was rough
And
times.
didn't falter in those times, and they're wanting to leave you. You're doing something very
Yeah, if the brick
Yeah.
didn't get them, but let's do it then. That
Oh,
says
that's why I
something.
liked PlayStation at first as well. I'm still a PlayStation girly, but in terms of the PSN, so like PlayStation Plus, Premium, Basic, or Essential, Extra, and Premium, I'm glad at least they had the whole. If you get the Premium, which is the most expensive tier, you have a whole like array of classic catalogs for it,
Right.
from PlayStation 1 to PSP, PlayStation 3. The only thing is the price. Like when they hiked up the price, I'm only going for Essential now, the cheapest one, and that's just to play online games. Even they're like the monthly games you get, they're not as good as what they used to be.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I guess from the extra
Mhm.
tier is okay. The second tier is semi okay, but the price is just so off putting for what you're getting. And it's such a shame because the concept is great. Like I loved playing Tomb Raider Legend. That was my favorite Tomb Raider. But in the end, I got the cheaper package and just paid like I think it was £5 to just buy the
Mm.
game like separate. But it's such a good idea to have like a whole catalogue of old school, like nostalgic games available. But the
It makes
pricing is
sense.
just,
The pricing.
yeah,
Ignorant. So because I haven't been keeping up on the PlayStation side, but
yeah.
the issues that Tazzy mentioned about the increases in prices and the lack of ownership, is that not the same on PSN?
Yes, it
yes.
is, but it's always kind of been known, if that makes
And it's
sense.
always
And
been
the
that, hasn't
proposition is
it?
Yeah.
different
I
from the
see.
beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it feels like
Because
Xbox are changing the proposition
yeah,
from what they
so
started with.
with the games, like because like I said, I've had it from like when it was Games with Gold back on the Xbox
Mm-hmm.
360, and it was you kept the games, you kept the license.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it what it is now. You kept the license for the game, even if you
Mm-hmm.
stopped subscribing.
Yep.
So you could play it even if you stopped subscribing. So then that carried on to the Xbox One, and there was plenty of games that I got on the Xbox One with that same
Mm-hmm.
like proposition. Then years later, like we're talking, this was like a couple of years ago that they changed it. Those same games that when I was subscribed to Xbox Live or Xbox Gold back in the day, apart from the Xbox 360 ones, there I still own the license for those apparently. But anything from Xbox One onwards, they've now retracted that license.
Oh.
When before, if I unsubscribed, I would still have those games.
Oh wow.
So it's only since they changed
Okay.
to
I didn't know that.
Game Pass for the basic that now even the games that they were originally like, oh, here you have
All the
them
games
forever,
you've
even
got.
if you're unsubscribed. Now I have to be
see.
subscribed to play them, and they even come up in my like owned games section because they used to
Okay.
be classed as an owned game. Yeah,
Yeah,
Right.
it's really
that's
sad.
snaky. That is like that made me gave me the biggest ick.
But you know
Like,
what? You know what I feel is driving. I mean, so these are corporate companies and stuff. So it was all about money. But specifically, there are reports that Xbox faces an internal mandate requiring a 30% profit margin across the brand, which is a dramatic increase from I think it's been about 12% margin as recently as 2022. And I always feel if you know how a company makes money, you'll understand the moves that they make. I don't see there's better ways to do things than others, but you'll understand it. And Microsoft, I've said this on a previous podcast, but from the days of like box copies of Windows and Office, which is how they made their money, moving into services with the new, or not new, but current CEO Satya Nadella, and just now like everything has to fit under that. So the service of Game Pass made sense in the early days, but now if they got to make a much bigger profit, you start to understand, okay, we're just gonna forget what you think, we're just gonna squeeze this or dial this profit dial up so we can hit those numbers. And that's what it starts to feel like. But then there was this good quote I got from Paul Tassi at Forbes, who I feel hit on something. It's quite depressing actually, but he says that the Xbox Game Pass price hike feels diametrically opposed to a constant refrain from Microsoft that despite seemingly huge costs and foregone game sales, Game Pass is profitable. If that's true, then either this is a huge greedy grab with loyal customers trying to squeeze them to an unprecedented degree to further margins, or Xbox Game Pass is not nearly as profitable as they're letting on, and they need to do this. that feels like it is one of those two things, which doesn't, I guess, neither bodes very well. So it kind of left me thinking, like, with this generation, and as we're saying, this quote unquote console war, if they've lost it, do they cut their losses with this generation and just move on to the next? What is a win for Microsoft even now or in future? Because it feels like we're just going to forget about. Are they doing a Dreamcast? Are they just going to forget about the hardware and just put their games just everywhere?
I quite like your this generation kind of quote. Are they kind of forgetting about, like you've said, almost our generation of gamers, the 30-year-olds? Are they going, don't worry about you lot, because you don't, like, you're not going to pay attention to, you're going to get frustrated about a £20 subscription service. Whereas actually, do they think that the next generation are just going to see it as the norm because of the cost of living and everything like that? Oh, Microsoft kind of doing the norm at the
generation
moment,
are paying Roblox
and just go, yeah, and just literally going, right, we'll focus on the next two generations, and they're not going to pay attention to a £20 subscription fee because that's what they're used to. That's the norm for them. They pay their Netflix subscription, they pay this, they pay that, and they just kind of going, right, let's look to the next two generations of gamers who are going to see this as actually quite normal purchasing behaviors.
I would say they're probably missing their mark then, because if TikTok's anything to go by, the younger generation are moving way more analog. Like, they are cutting their subscriptions. They are like,
there's a whole movement now to cut some of the subscriptions.
Cycle through your subscriptions. Like, you have one at a time and you binge on that subscription and then move on. So I get what you're saying. Maybe that is what they're doing, but I'm telling them now, you're missing the mark.
Not on it.
Yeah, the pessimist to me, I actually don't think that people are cutting. I think some people are cutting some of their subscriptions, and I think people are sensitive to price increases. I think on the whole, though, if you look at just the way how humans are generally, you need a really you need something really
to shock.
A shock before you actually do anything, right?
That's me.
People are very stubborn. They don't like change. Yeah, right. So, I mean, I do. Have they probably did the price hike hit them significantly? Maybe. I don't know if the MAUs or the amount of people who are subscribing has dramatically changed. I think if there was a huge drop, then they would have reversed maybe some of their decision making. Not to go into politics too much, but when Disney got rid of one of their
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, right?
Yeah.
There was a mass
a lot of anger
thing. But I imagine that the bigger issue for them was the comms around it, as opposed to the actual people who are unsubscribing. I'm sure they still had a number of people still subscribed to the platform, and you've got to remember, like, a lot of people aren't online paying attention to what Jimmy Kimmel is. They're not. They don't know. They're not on Twitter. They're not on all these other places. They don't know really what's going on. So they are just subscribed to these places. So will it have a huge dent, like, on them? Maybe. Do they need to cut this generation and kind of focus on the next? I think all parties are looking at the next generation, and I think they're all a bit concerned. And I think there was a recent news story that potentially the what generation are we on now? PS7 or
the PS6?
Six.
There we go.
Will be next one.
Is potentially going to be delayed from its expected date because of RAM stuff. I mean, it depends on the form of what Microsoft is planning next. If it is like a software-based thing, Microsoft's skill set has always been in software, really, as opposed to hardware.
That's what they do.
Right.
In fact, Xbox is somewhat of an outlier in terms of success with, or sustained success with hardware.
Right. So, and the thing is, I think that Xbox maybe hasn't been. I mean, there was one generation that was absolutely successful, right? 360 was a successful generation for them, but maybe Xbox One wasn't. And the original Xbox, I think they were just getting their kind of foot in the door.
There's enough for it to, tread water.
Yeah,
so I actually don't know how well
it's been a brand. Yeah, for them, it's always been a brand exercise. And another way, it's similar to Steam, of like, how do we sell our software? How do we get, and in this instance, it's Game Pass. How do we get more people subscribing to the platform? But I think Game Pass has underperformed as well. So even if they do cut their losses with this generation, they still have, I think, a big focus and a big, I don't know, gap to fill in terms of trying to get more people on Game Pass. And maybe that is through connected TVs and
Yeah,
other
I can see
platforms
that.
that's not Xbox.
The one thing that makes me think that they're not trying to tackle the next generation is that they're still releasing big games and they haven't tapped into much mobile. And because the thing
Microsoft
with the
only do
next
mobile.
Well, they bought King, so that's their way of getting into mobile.
yeah, but that's King still I feel like I feel like the games
Sarah
that
bought
King make are still for an older generation, because the real competition with the next generation is not other games, it's short form entertainment.
Oh, this is true. Yeah, that's true.
And vertical entertainment. So that makes me think that that's not what they're trying to tap into, because that they've not released anything along those lines. If that was the case, then they'd be putting out like super high addictive games that last
Right.
5 minutes.
But that's a great point, though.
Can be played vertically.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still time. Don't count them out yet, Tazziii.
Yeah.
I'm sure they put in a bid for TikTok to buy it.
Probably.
I think they did actually in the first iteration of that whole sales cycle.
That's such a Microsoft move, isn't it?
Yeah, just acquire someone else that's doing it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, maybe they are, and we're just not seeing it yet, and then we'll see it in the next few years. But I feel like at the moment they are still targeting their
like traditional
older,
gamer.
Yeah, their existing thing, and I think I don't think they're sure. I don't think they're sure of what they're doing. Not that they're not sure.
I don't think
they're just constantly chasing. Like that quote that you said, Nigel. I feel like it is. I think they're just constantly chasing.
It feels like that.
Like they're scrambling.
I think some people it sounds stupid, but I do think some people forget that they are owned by Microsoft. And it's like, if you have a bad financial year, it's owned by Microsoft. They're not going to really care. They're going to just go, right, we'll look at the next quarter, we'll look at the next 4 years. Like you said, they may be scrambling at the moment, but in 5 years' time, they might be sat there going, well, no one now plays console games, and we've got Ultimate PC, Game Pass, whatever. We've got a console with a PC in it. They might just be chasing the next 10 years. They might not even be worrying about now. And going, actually, we've got financial backing from Microsoft because we're Microsoft. When Microsoft shuts down for 12 hours, the world collapses, let's be honest. So they're not too worried about the now, and are looking forward and going, right, if we can bring out the Xbox in 2027 is the latest rumor.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
And then there's like just a department that's trying to keep it current. That is the one scrambling.
Paper over the cracks of this transition. Essentially, I do feel like Microsoft are yes to that. Either with Xbox, I feel there's some scrambling going on as they transition. But you're right, Tazziii, or both you both touched on this. Where I mean, these are very, very large companies. Like Microsoft is a $3 trillion of market capitalization companies. Microsoft is one of the biggest companies in the world, so they're not. It might look stupid, but they're not stupid. They might, make mistakes and everything, but they have some element of knowing what they're doing. And I imagine they have seen in 2030, we think console gaming or just video games looks like this. Therefore, right now, you need to get there, and you need to get there making a profit. And I imagine that's how they're operating. And then Phil Spencer has to come out and explain it in the day-to-day.
He just gets the short straw.
Essentially. As they do this. So, but we touched on PlayStation in terms of like potential delays, and we can talk a bit more about that with the reports from Japanese industry report that suggest that the PS6, so that's the next generation of the console, will be delayed. So it's suggesting that this has been decided internally to extend the life cycle of the current PS5 console. So this would push. You say surprising?
It's not surprising.
Oh, not surprising. Oh, yeah, okay. So this would push back to what was expected, or push the release to a late 2028 or 2029, if you can imagine such numbers, instead of the expected like 2027 or 2028 timeframe. So this would be, if that's true, that would make it the longest sort of certainly the longest PlayStation generation. I think the longest just console generation. But as Janelle, you sort of hinted at, it could be a good thing. I feel the collective kind of feeling is, there's no rush, no rush to have a whole new console, especially in this economy as well. But many players are, there's that sense of not enough games have been released on the current PS5. It's particularly PS5 exclusives. I should stipulate that, and then also given the length of time that AAA titles now take to make, it's like, well, we just haven't seen the best. And, caveat that with there was a pandemic, and I feel people or some people underestimate the long tail impact of such a disruption on the life cycle, on the development cycle of a video game. So I feel that's not to be, taken for granted. But, all the other things I've said. So it feels like we're saying, take your time with a new console. With the PS5, everyone agree with that? Or is anyone thinking like, actually, no, they need to move on?
100% agree. Like, I had the PlayStation 5 like day one when it came out, and it was just me being a PlayStation girly, when in hindsight you could have waited a whole year because games were still coming out on the PlayStation 4.
PS4.
And the difference, like, honestly, the difference between PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 isn't that steep currently with the games that we have. Apart from like games like Astro Bot and to be fair, God of Ragnarök was right. You could tell the difference, but I feel like they need to take their time with PlayStation 6, and I feel like it needs to be a big jump like the PlayStation 1 was to PlayStation 2. Like, it needs to...
Big jump graphically, or what does a big jump mean now? Can we even get that big jump?
I don't know about graphically, if I'm honest, because the graphics already is amazing. Some sort of... Maybe with the controller, some sort of sensory thing would be great. Like the VR, for example, is like, compared to the competitors, is not that great. And I played like the original PlayStation VR, and it was good for the time. But then obviously, with all the other competitors that have come out, like the Quest and whatnot, it kind of trumps it. But for me, the controller, like having the sensors, like the adaptive triggers, that was a nice touch to add, but not many games utilize it still, apart from like COD and like a few other games. So I feel like until we've got a bit more, like, we'll see how GTA 6, for example, is like with the PlayStation 5. But I don't know, it feels like something, I don't know how they could trump even the PlayStation 5 right now that would warrant you when to buy it day one. I just did it as a loyal PlayStation fan.
I will tell you now, I'm not buying a PS6 day one. Full stop.
Insane.
But
I learned my lesson with PlayStation 5.
I still don't have a PS5 because, Nigel, what were my words? I will get a PS5 when they bring out the Slim was not slim. It was like
not slim.
What was
they
that?
just like
that
change the angle.
Slim.
They just how sometimes you just you take the photo from a different angle. It looks they tried that, put the filter on it.
The PS6 needs to be a smaller form factor and a better design.
The PS Cube. That's what Tazzii's looking for.
Yeah. Come on, the Cube. I'm sorry, but the Cube design is elite. I'm not biased. It is very cute.
But I don't mind the design of the PlayStation 5.
No, it's the size of half my leg.
Okay, yeah.
I don't need a console that's the size, and I'm not exaggerating. It is literally the size of my car. Like, that is how big it is. Like, that's not an exaggeration. And I'm not a short person. I have long legs. It's enormous. I'm sorry. It can't fit in a Kallax. Like, what are we doing?
I was about to say that. It can't fit in a normal TV unit, and everyone had the audacity to turn around and say the Xbox Series X was massive.
And
then you compare it to the PS5, like you said, it can't fit in a regular TV unit. It's ridiculous.
My Series X fits comfortably anywhere. Like, it's so the form factor. I did not like the design when I first saw the pictures of it, and then when I got the physical version, I was like, okay, it actually looks better in real life.
Yeah, it is practical,
and it just fits in. Like, when I tell you it fits in, it just slots in anywhere. It's like, when you're the kiddies like wooden toy with the shapes.
Oh yeah, the blocks.
There's one block.
Square pegs and square holes. That's what they went for.
But like, there's one shape that just fits in all the holes. That's what the Xbox Series X is. And I'm like, I have PlayStation have normally been the better design in my opinion, looks wise. And I feel like they missed they miss it here. Like, I can't put anything on it. Like it just
Yeah.
It's a
where is
bit
that
awkward,
going?
isn't it?
Where is that going?
The
Yeah.
whole
Like,
separate stand thing as well was a bit
just
fiddly.
Yeah, that is a bit
like,
fiddly. But I mean, they need to do a big jump, whether it is the design, whether it's making. I don't know how they can top it because they've already got the PlayStation exclusives, which I feel like honestly having exclusives can be a good thing. But I like that fact that you can kind of have any console now, and as long as you have patience. Like I think someone said, was it Wobbly Gamer said that, where like you can, if you have the patience, you can end up playing any game within like a year, because PlayStation had some bangers. Like Stellar Blade was amazing. They had Spider-Man 2, Rise of the Ronin. Like they have really, really good games. But that seems to be the only main thing that's going for it right now. And even then, if you have patience, you can play it like somewhere else eventually. That's what I'm saying. There's something's missing. Like it feels, and I'm a PlayStation like diehard, but there's something missing.
It does feel like that big tempo game. I mean, God of War and all the other sort of standard Ghost of Yotei as well.
Yes. So many.
So it's not that they haven't released things. I guess it's because you can get them on PS4.
That's what I'm saying.
It's Ghost of Yotei also on PS4 or PC. Yeah. So but then maybe that's where we are with games. Is the idea of like the console exclusive even a thing anymore?
There could be the argument, like you said earlier on, Nigel, about the graphics. Obviously, like with the graphical leap between the PS1 and PS2 being so big, and then arguably the PS2 to PS3, and then forward again. But it's kind of peaked. The PS4 the PS4 to PS5 wasn't a big graphical leap because there wasn't a way for it to be a big graphical leap.
And that's kind of how technology works, to be fair.
Yeah.
Do you think
there's only so much our eyes can see?
Exactly that. So we kind of hit a graphical end game at the moment where we're kind of like, what's going to be the next big thing in gaming?
That's what I'm saying. If anything, it'll be VR. If anything, because you're then fully immersed. But I don't see with a console. Go on, Tazziii.
I was just gonna say, I really think like every company right now in gaming really needs to take a moment to think about like what they're actually doing and have like, which I know they're not going to, and have actual purpose. I think like what's
stop making live service games. What?
Probably giving a go into the corner and think about what you've done.
Purpose. Go back to the basics. Go like I think they really need to like take a look at history as well, because I can really see remnants of history repeating themselves, and like I mean, well, kind of as we are in the middle of a crash, but companies really need to take that step back. Like, what is going to be that next push, rather than rushing out something just because that's how they're supposed to do it. Take more time. Really think about. I sound like a bloody teacher or parent. Think about what you've done and think about what you're going to do next. But I think it's true. I don't think enough companies in gaming are really taking a moment like to really
breathe.
Plan. To breathe and plan and take that time.
And bring back physical media, please.
Yes,
I'm losing my mind. CD cases, like physical releases, like.
I think that's dead.
Don't, please, don't.
I don't want it to be.
Stressing me out. Like Fatal Frame's coming out, like the remake for number 2. Where is the physical release? Like I have my old like PlayStation version, and like it's too much. It's too much.
I hear you on that because
I want to own a game. I want to physically own a game. Say we had a like internet outage. You can't just play half the games now.
No. Here's the problem though. Even if you have physical games, you still can't play because
you still need to connect to.
That's true.
This is a real copy.
That's a whole different ball game. But it's so annoying that you don't own games anymore. Like,
but if I buy a physical game, I can't play it on my fridge, guys. Come on.
I've been like an internet outage, but it's ridiculous. Like if there's a whole internet outage, you can't log in to access the games.
Which is more likely to happen as with the rise of AI using up all the resources.
Like back in the day, you didn't need internet to play games. Like now everything's internet service. It's ridiculous. But
But I mean, PlayStation I feel they're doing well. The console is selling, is winning. They are making the money that they need to be making. So it feels like their strategy is working for them. I know they recently had a state of play, which I don't know if anyone caught, but a good hour of mostly third-party games, I believe, but some, yeah, it feels like they're doing well. I feel happy. I mean, once I complete this last bit of God of War, although they did announce a God of War remake and a whole new side-scrolling prequel game, so maybe there's more God of War for me as well. But they announced other things. I will give a shout to two things I'll quickly shout on, and we can talk about Nintendo. But 007 First Light, even though I can't shake the Uncharted vibes of it. It might not necessarily be a bad thing in terms of the gameplay itself, but IO Interactive working in a James Bond game. Kenna, Scars of Cosmora, which is a sequel to Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which is a cool, smaller game, but I enjoyed. I do need to finish, actually, need to continue playing, but nice to see a sequel. And then the Marvel Tokon game, which is like basically anime Marvel 4-on-4 fighting, which just looks really, really cool. So nice variety of games in. I don't know if anyone caught it or had anything that they're looking forward to.
A Resident Evil, but like I said, quick PSA. Can we stop like revealing the whole game in the trailer, please? Like, can we keep stop oversharing? Let's keep some characters secret. Let's have some surprises. I'm tired of trying to dodge trailers and just seeing like, oh, this character's going to be in it. This character's bad. Like, please, can we stop oversharing? That's my PSA done.
Fair. Yeah, that goes for all media, I feel.
Yeah, that is for all media, films as well.
Yeah, films as well. Very guilty of it.
I feel you.
I watched this actually because I came back home from somewhere and because it was on quite late UK time, and I thought, oh, this thing's on, I'll start watching it. So I caught most of it, but I did leave when they had the Resident Evil trailer because
exactly.
But I mean, I'm a big Metal Gear fan, so for me, getting MGS4
Movie Master.
Yeah, getting it because it's been locked to the PS3. It's only ever been available on PlayStation 3. So more people being able to play Guns N' Patriots is a good thing. So that looks cool to me. As a fighting game fan, yeah, Marvel Tokon looks very good. The John Wick game really surprised me.
Yeah,
right.
I'm getting
it. It came out of left field, kind of.
Oh,
yeah.
Because it's kind of. I mean, you were talking earlier, Nigel, about Sifu, and I think Sifu has fantastic combat mechanics.
Yeah,
and if we can get
really good. I just can't play it. But,
Well, yeah, sure, because the age thing. But if John Wick has got, if it can mimic, a percentage of what Sifu does, it can be really good. And I think, it's not the first John Wick game. I think there was one way back when. No, there was one by the guys who did Bithell Games, who did Thomas Was Alone. They did one called John Wick Hex. I'm just trying to remember, and I think it was like a turn-based thing. Not, it's not what you would expect from a John Wick fighting game. So so I think John Wick of all the ones really looked the best. I don't really care much for God of War, so I kind of.
Wait, what?
That
should be a pre-question for people on this.
You're lucky you didn't get kicked out by Nigel. Like,
my mouse is hovering over this like disconnect button as eject.
But I thought it was a very good state of play, if that's what it was, a state of play or something.
State of play. Solid
of titles, and Konami really they had like a whole slot of new IP, existing IP. So really good to also see Castlevania back, done by the Dead Cells developer. So a lot of love that's going into that. Okay. So all good.
Yeah. So lots there. So I wanted to end on Nintendo, so I'm going to leave that. But I've got, maybe if we can squeeze in another story and give people the choice of, do you want to talk about Game Awards and endless trailers, or Larian and AI? What do people prefer?
I feel like I'm going to go on the rant with AI, so I'll leave it up to you guys to pick.
Okay. All right. Let's do the AI. Let's try.
No, guys.
Just like trigger people. So I thought this was a fascinating story. So as we look at other game developers, an interesting story has been developing. And I think it poses some questions about what we expect from game companies, and as AI takes over every aspect of our life, for better or for worse. And I think it's especially interesting, this story coming from Larian Studios, who have developed a lot of goodwill, which I don't know if they've still got it, but so previously, I think this was, if not early this year, it was late last year, where Larian Studios CEO Sven Vinke, who, again, lots of goodwill from the previous year's Game Awards, because he gave a really good speech about what we want to see from games, and a very, very supportive, collectively, I feel, from the games industry. So yeah, just intriguing to see this story where it came out that they were pushing hard on generative AI, incorporating it into the game development process. And I don't think he said like we're using AI to generate the art that's going to go into games, but he noted that Larian uses AI tools to, quote, explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, and write placeholder text. So that's what he said, and it was sort of part of a wider interview. But again, just where we are with AI, that got taken a certain way. And he had to like come out and clarify the position. There was like backtrack. They did a whole Reddit AMA as well to clarify that, you know, we're not replacing people, we're not firing people and using AI and all that. Yeah, I guess my question is, did people see the backlash, and what do you feel about Larian, who again had a lot of goodwill coming from Baldur's Gate 3, and I mentioned the Game Awards, and our very large company taking this stance, and how the industry reacted to it? Are you surprised by the reaction? Do you feel, what do you feel about how people responded to AI in their games, or games in general?
It comes from laziness. I'm sorry. If you have to use AI for like stuff like developer concept art, I feel like that's coming from laziness, and you can incorporate a human to do concept stuff. I'm a bit confused about that. Or even exploring ideas. You don't need AI to explore ideas. Just please use your brain. Like I understand if you want to use it for like, I don't know, something mathematical or something. I don't know, just to
You're
lighten the
specifically
load.
the creative, the art,
Creative
visual
side.
art. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just don't understand. And I know it's even with a few indie developers who might not be able to afford, for example, voice actors. I'm seeing a rise of like, I'm going slightly off topic, of people using like AI voices now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's just,
I
it's
can see
taking
that.
the soul out of gaming. Like, why are you making this game if you're just not going to put your own energy into it? I feel like AI people just, rather than Googling something themselves, they're just putting into like chat
Yeah,
GBT.
tell
Like,
me art stuff. Yeah,
yeah, or to write your own essay. Like, currently,
yeah.
I'm saying back in my day, we had to write the essay, like type it out ourselves.
Welcome to old
Like,
age.
I'm like, please, like, don't take the soul out of games. Like, people notice these things. Well, I say majority of people notice these things. Some people don't care. But for me, like, there's something special about knowing someone created this with their own hand or their own mind. Like, I'm scared it's just games are going to be so soulless if people keep treading. It's like dipping your toe in, seeing what the response is. And if it's like, okay, not a big backlash, we'll
We
go
can
even
jump in.
further.
We can.
Yeah, so
The
like I said,
water's
let me
fine.
stop
Come in.
now because I'm going to go on a rant. Let someone else speak.
Okay.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for two
Oh,
Oh, that's
go
usually what I
on.
do. Okay. Oh,
One,
yeah.
you would never have known they'd used it in concept art stage unless he said it. There is
Yeah,
no,
but
it's
go on.
concept art. You're not gonna know the difference if it's it's something that someone's then gonna work on and make feel like there's that human touch. No one in the whole of the games industry would have known they used it unless he said it. And two, the argument for AI is that it replaces people. Larian Studios are one of the few developers that haven't had mass layoffs. So there isn't the argument. You can sit there and say the
Okay.
argument is
Okay.
they're using it ethically because they're not replacing human entities with it, because they're not like laying people off. I'm just being devil's
No, go
advocate
ahead.
there.
Go ahead before I
Yeah.
respond. I want
So
you to
I'm
speak.
not sitting here saying I agree with you. Yeah,
No,
but no.
100%. Go
I
on.
think
I'll
if it's
respond.
used ethically, like Larian are doing, because they haven't let people go, then you could sit there and go, it's not really that bad of a big thing, because
I
there's
Oh,
still,
go on, Tazzy. You can go first,
yeah,
and I've
you
got to
can, yeah,
respond.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like at least there is no big layoffs list, but even if it's like just concept art, which is not a just concept art, is a big part of it,
Mhm.
is what's something that, like, from speaking to people in various levels of the games industry that we get to speak to, because we have a great podcast and it makes it really easy to speak to lots of people, and then just like social life as well. The issue that comes with doing a task like even just concept art is then you're not allowing people entering the industry. So even though it might not have taken away from an existing role in their studio, if we're looking at this as a whole and long term, if then AI becomes the norm for making concept art,
Why
you're
would you
then
bring an
removing an
intern?
entry, you're removing an entry level role, which then means that we get later on down the pipeline, we've lost talent. We've got no talent there, because once the existing generation age out, go into retirement, have families, whatever it is that removes them from the industry, who's going to replace them? Because no one's had the
Knows how
chance
to do it.
to
Yeah.
learn how to do it. You've removed the entry level roles, and then you're creating a void that happens later on down the line.
And that's when
So
OpenAI enter the platinum package, where we will do all
yeah,
the concept for
Yeah.
low price.
so where is the line? And I think
It's a good question.
that it is a case of it. If people are using it, then they've really got a question, like how they're using it, how ethical they're using it. There's nothing, we can't do anything ethical nowadays. It is a giant game of ethical chess, and no one's winning. Like,
I hate this expression, but with AI, the genie's out the bottle now. Let's be honest.
Very much so. It's a
The
Pandora's box, and
Yeah.
Yeah, but considering the tallest, I'll go on Tazziii. Karen, finish.
Yeah, a continued conscious relationship, but it is, people do need to push back. People have to
100%.
continuously push back to be like, okay, but what are you leaving out? And where are you drawing the line? At what point are you then going to make sure that a human is involved in this stage? How much is allowed to be used? There's all of these questions that need to be asked. And one thing, it was a meme post, but it was a
generated with AI.
No, but it had a point.
Okay.
It was talking about, I'm sorry, Microsoft, you're getting the brunt of my thing today, and it was definitely not the only company that deserves the scrutiny, but this one just happened to be about Microsoft, was that all the people that have created tools in Microsoft, AI tools, and then been replaced by the AI tools that they've created.
Yeah. They'll make a film about that one day.
Yeah. So it's I agree. When it comes to creativity, I think humans should be at the forefront.
Turkey's voting for Christmas.
I use AI sometimes, and I really try and limit how much I'm using it. And most of the time when I'm using it, it's just stuff like help it write complaints to the NHS. Because I literally do not have the capacity, and I don't have anyone to help me with those things. But I always try and reach out to people for help first, and fall back on it when there is I don't have other options, and it's helped me to progress in life in ways that I've literally been stuck for ages because I do not have the human help,
which is fair enough. But it's with the tool itself, is it's because you said about the whole concept of never being seen by anyone. It's still the tool that they're using. AI doesn't create something out of thin air. It uses someone else's art. Someone else's art has already been siphoned and used for the purpose of you to then come up with this concept art that then an artist will copy that or get inspiration from that. It's still stealing artwork from someone. And that's a whole nother beast that in order for AI to work, it has to be fed. And then most of it is not fed consensually. So it's just so problematic. Even like Tazziii was saying, the concept artist exists for a reason, and then you're taking that out. So then there's no entry into becoming like different developmental paths for artists at all if you've taken away that main chunk. So yeah, it's the tools itself is also problematic, not just it being
and
seen.
then that's not even going into how much resources it uses.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't want to go into that.
If every games company starts using AI to make games, there's going to be no RAM for anyone to use to play the games anyway.
Pointless. Literally. So yeah.
It's such a tricky thing, because if we say AI as new tool, technology companies, games companies are always going to investigate new tools and I feel that's their right, as you know, make the game process more efficient. But then with AI, such a, like you said, it's almost like an original sin because even if you get further along the line, it's like it started by companies like OpenAI and like hoovering up a lot of data without care to where it's coming from or consent or any sort of compensation for the art, if we're talking art, because I know art is not just art, but art gets a lot of the focus when it comes to these discussions. So yeah, I get that. And I don't know, because Tazziii, you mentioned like the line. I don't know where the line is, but I agree with you. There is a line, and I feel there is a point with games companies, with everyone. This is like our PSA, where kind of have to decide like, how much, because it could take over everything, and we could just be just literally press the button.
They've already got AI looking for humans to do work. Also, I just want to put like a note of like when we're talking about AI in this instance, we are talking about LLM generative AI,
because that's not the total capacity of
like,
and it will do great things in terms of like medicine and
yes, 100%.
That is so not like just write it all off, but just those considerations in terms of the things we engage with. And I feel we are going to have that conversation of like, how do we want to use it, how do we want to get, or I feel we should, we don't actually, we don't have to, we could just like sleepwalk into as we're doing at the moment, but have that conversation of how do we want the games to be made. And I just feel like that line, we're gonna have to decide on that, because one thing that I think Tazziii mentioned, but I've seen mentioned elsewhere, is just that reminder that is my opinion, that because I think there's value in there, it's just where, how much and all that, and then the ethics of it. But I always have to remind myself that how it's going now is very much driven by commercial interests of a few companies who are incentivized to convince us that AI is the thing right now. Drop everything and jump on the AI bandwagon. And it doesn't have to be like this. Like, we might get there in some form that is more informed, more considered to artists and everything like that. But it doesn't have to be like this, at this speed, at this scope, scale, and everything. I just don't know how to slow that down, how to be more considerate and have not the only voice being that sort of commercial interest, which is a valid voice in the right percentage, but I personally feel the percentage is way over what it should be. But back to Larian, it does show that they are in amongst this ongoing debate, like what is the balance between exploring those new technologies and not just like the creative process, but like the trust in people that you haven't just again press button to make game, which is not what he said. I want to reiterate that. I feel like he didn't say that, but just where we are with it, it's that it's taken as that in a lot of quarters. So I feel this is an ongoing discussion. I feel I don't know if I've actually done it yet, but I know I've got I had a good chat with someone last year about AI, and I think we were going to invite him on the podcast to have that continued discussion, because I think it does need continued discussion, and we do need to be vigilant. Like I say again, it doesn't have to be like this, and we might have more of a voice than we think we do. So, but so I was just intrigued by Larian of all studios, because I feel they had the credit to make this, and I feel like a few deposits have been made, but they're further in the conversation, even though it's come at their expense. But it's a discussion that needs to be had. So on to something a bit less controversial, and I'll end with some Nintendo. Nintendo are always good for feel good stories most of the time, as long as you don't get the lawyers involved. But I feel they're having a good year. We talked about the release of the Switch 2. It's the 40th anniversary of a lot of games, and they've got some films coming out. So they've got Mario Galaxy coming out, and the one I wanted to end on is actually it's not rumors, because they did actually reveal. So it's the reveal of official first images of Link and Zelda from the Legend of Zelda movie that is due to come out next spring, so May 7th, 2027. Has anyone seen the images? Interested to know, given the success of the first Mario, so we're getting another one which I imagine will do just as well, if not better. What are we expecting from the live action Legend of Zelda film? I know like basically no details have been given. All we know is the director Wes Ball, who did the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which I really loved, and the Maze Runner trilogy. That's it. Actually, I think that's literally all we know. So, yeah, what are people's thoughts on Nintendo's expansion into other forms of media and what to expect from the Zelda film?
Well, my 9-year-old loves them. Let's just.
Cool.
Yeah, he adored the Mario film when it first came out, and I just they're feel good films. I don't have an issue with I think it's great for them characters we grew up playing to be portrayed in films. I'm intrigued by Link and Zelda, but
Yeah, you just like just
yeah
wait and see what they come up with.
yeah
That's fair.
it's the second one's never as good as the first one. That's a concern. Let's be honest, but
That's good. I'm gonna have to think of some follow-up
Yeah.
animations that are. What does anyone else think, or is anyone anticipating the Legend of Zelda film?
I'm not gonna expose myself to any news, trailers, or anything about it. I want to go into watching it with no preconceptions whatsoever,
Yeah,
so
it's a
that
good
I can
shout.
have a clean slate of an opinion that is just mine and not influenced by other people's perceptions.
Good luck with that.
This is.
It massively helps that I have
No, I'm with you. I feel that.
drastically cut down my social media.
Yeah, Twitter is the main
usage.
hotspot. X is the main hotspot for
I
spoilers with
haven't
that
used
stuff.
that since
So you're
a
saying
certain salute was made by its.
Oh yeah.
So I'm good. I'm not on Twitter.
So, I controversially, maybe Phil, I try and watch them without the game in mind because it's really like the Borderlands film. Actually, if you watch it without thinking about it as a Borderlands film and just watch it as a film, it's actually not a bad film. Borderlands film.
It's still bad. It's still bad,
yeah,
even
no,
as a film.
That's an interesting
with you
statement. That's it. At this point, we like to remind that the views of the Wobbly Gamer do not reflect the views of the Story podcast. Go see the episode we discussed on Borderlands. But you are you are right to have your opinion, and we will put that
But
somewhere.
also, I agree with you as in like watching it removed from its original IP.
Yeah,
though,
it's hard.
I try and watch it linked to the original IP and then see if it has merit when it stands alone. Because the reason why it needs to have merit along with the original IP, because if you didn't want it to make sense as that IP, you shouldn't have made it with that IP. You should have made a different film.
Yeah.
100% Until Dawn.
So yeah, like I get that. Like I do like to see if a film has merit, if it stands alone, if it flops as it being connected to the IP, but still think you should make it. But I have to massively disagree with the Borderlands, because we've had other films like Uncharted was
Yeah, it's okay.
it was a decent film.
Okay.
Yeah.
It stood alone. I don't think it
It
made
worked
a
as
good
a film.
Uncharted
It was
movie.
coherent.
Yeah, but it was as a film. It was more like a Spider-Man.
It was
well
filmed.
Everyone just went into that hoping he was going to be Spider-Man. Let's be honest.
No, they used scenes that basically made him look like Spider-Man. That's what I had issue with, because I went into it hoping it would be Uncharted, but they made it to look too much like Spider-Man. Like when he was jumping off crates. Anyway,
it's the crate scene. It is the crate scene. Yeah.
But Uncharted, like, so it has to. It should work as the IP, and if failing that, it needs to work as a standalone. But then they shouldn't have made it the IP. So, because every time I think of something made of an IP, the film that I shall not name. Anyway, but I liked the Super Mario movie. I'm hoping, which is unlikely, but I'm hoping, because they've kind of like, this done well. They're like, we can allow you to make a little bit more risk. I know it's not going to be much, but please I hope they just like a smidgen. Just give them a smidgen. Because I think that's what's missing from this early stage Nintendo screen
creative
universe.
freedom.
Yeah, just give people a little bit of creative freedom.
I like the Minecraft
you can do
movie.
it, Nintendo.
Oh, that was all creative freedom. There was
Yeah, so, like, still
no
work. So, like,
chains,
all the
no
kids
chain
that,
scene.
yeah. So I
I
feel
feel
like
like having a Minecraft movie without creative freedom would literally destroy the essence of Minecraft.
Yeah. Neither.
which is why it
That was
really works. And I hope,
the inmates
like
are
you
one in the
said,
asylum type of film.
yeah, I hope you're right and they take some sort of risk.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, like I said, Nintendo seem to be doing well. So we'll come back and see after we've talked about the new Mario film as well. As that's coming out pretty soon. But that does bring us to the end of our roundtable. Managed to pack a few stories in there, so hopefully that was interesting to listeners. If you feel there are some video game stories that we should be talking about, we do have a summer video game roundtable, so feel free to jump in our Discord. Let us know some stories that might interest you and are worth talking about, and we'll take a look. Yeah, so you can email us as well as the Discord. You can email us studio77@myamada.com. So before we wrap up, let's check in with our guests, find out what they've been working on and how we can find out more about them.
We always like to give our guests a chance to share what they're working on and shout out about your projects. Let's start with, I feel like I should go in reverse. Matt, do you want to go first?
Yeah, so I kind of plod along, advocating for accessibility and working at Manycat Studios. So look for Manycat Studios on all forms of social media. We community interest group that work with large publishers and studios with accessibility on their games. And also look for the Wobbly Gamer, because that's what I do personally as an advocate and a content creator, streamer. Yeah, that's about it at the moment.
Love to see it. Wayne, what about yourself? What have you got going on that people should know about?
Quite a bit. I mean, depending on when this podcast goes out, which I imagine will
End of February, basically.
Okay, then this will have been announced. So I've been working for the last 6 months on building a new social impact platform as part of my consultancy work. So I work with NGOs and charities who are trying to get into the gaming world and try and connect them. And been working on a project with ICO, who are like a kind of data gaming company, industry company, and marketing and PR company, and we built this platform that essentially does that. So that will be launching, and we have a number of really great NGOs and charities who are on it, and we have a number of great game studios who are going to be using it. So that will be it's called Cause Select. CauseSelect.org is the website, and if you want to see, if you're a game developer, content creator, in that ilk in the industry and want to connect with NGOs and charities and see what cool stuff they're working on and support them, then you'll be able to use this platform to do that. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
That sounds really, really cool, actually. And Janelle, anything you want to share with, I was going to say share with the class? Like teacher vibes today. I'm going to stick with it. Anything you want to share with the class?
Well, I'm working on 2 writing projects that I can't actually talk about yet. But I've started my voice acting journey, which is very exciting, hoping to delve into video games and anime, as well as streaming and doing all the gaming good stuff on TikTok.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so we will leave relevant links in the podcast description for anyone that wants to check out the wonderful things that all of our guests have been working on.
And yeah, thank you to all our guests for joining us and getting in the discussion and the debate as well. Appreciate all your opinions. Asterix, maybe the Borderlands one might need a bit more scrutiny, but thank you all for joining us. And as we're sharing projects, I want to just circle back around and give a few things that we are also working on. So I did mention earlier that we are working on the 2026 Do I Look Like a Gamer campaign, but there is a bit more going on. Always want to let people know that our Studio 77 activities are ongoing. So this is our digital platform where we host different shows with creative professionals and also play games for your amusement. And the podcast is one of the shows that we do, but we also live stream on Twitch And YouTube, when I remember to hit the YouTube button, which I forgot to on the last one. But each month there are some mix of shows going on, whether it's the Studio 77 report, casual conversations with comic creators, games night as well. So make sure you are following us, following Maya Matter on Twitch, on YouTube, so you can catch each show when we do go live. And if you are a young, aspiring creative professional or you know of one, then check out the Maya Matter Showrunners Work Experience program. So we have been running this program for, I think this is our third year doing this, where we're creating opportunities for young people aged 16 and up to work with our team across comic production, events, and content creation as well. So we have different cohorts and other opportunities throughout the year. And to find out more, you can email us showrunners@mayamatter.com. But that is it for this episode. If you are enjoying Story X Story, definitely make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future episodes. Also, give us a 5-star rating and review, because that helps us reach new listeners and fans of story discussions. So we release new episodes on Thursdays, and those include video game discussions like this one, interviews with creative professionals and practitioners, as well as deep dives into stories across pop culture. So you can always give us a shout directly. Our email address is studio77@mayamatter.com, and our website with links to subscribe is mayamatter.com/storyxstory. So that's it from us. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, stay safe, and remember, if you are a games company, go to your room and don't come out until you thought about what you've done to our wallets. Take care, everyone.